A, 10X challenge, day 11. That's true 10X because you get the little over delivery there. That was come on, man. What's going on here? Guys, all right. Great to have you guys here. Johnny, I can hear myself in the deal here. So if we can get that fixed. We good? Guys, all right. Great to have you guys here. Johnny, I can hear myself. Johnny, used to be.
Thank you for the sunshine that you bring. It's called Johnny. No, Johnny.
Johnny.
Sing along with me, folks. Come on. Sonny. Thank you for the sunshine.
Thank you for the sunshine that you bring.
Johnny, am I hot? Sonny. Come on, sing it with me, folks. Come on, let's go. Sonny.
All right, everybody. Welcome to day 11 of the 10X challenge. I got to jump in here because it's just going to get ugly with Grant over here singing. Thank you guys so much for showing up. Day 11, once again. Let me get a 10X if you guys have been here. If this is day 11 in a row for you, let me see 10X in the comments. I know we're going to get a bunch of love in the Zoom meeting. We have my backstage, everybody that's in here, what's up? Jesse Reed, William Brown, Stacy Hull, Joe Bova, Lucky Reed, David Ridnor, Cody Reynolds, Gene Garcia, Andrea Levine, Britt Rayner, Irene Kusuma, Nikki Brown, Nate Smith, Gloria Rodriguez, Judith Viado. Thank you all for being here today. Day 11 of the 10X challenge. We've been going strong, 11 days straight, like Groundhog Day. Wake up again. What was that song that I think it was it Sonny and Cher or Cher that sang that? Oh, put your little hand in mine. You know that song? Yeah. That was that. Yeah. I got you, babe. It was the alarm clock in Groundhog Day. That movie, when I was growing up, that movie used to always be on, and I'd hate when it was on, but I'd always watch it. We're day 11, dude. Every day we're going a little bit deeper. We're getting a little bit more advanced with the concepts that we're talking about here. Today is going to be a great day. If you missed the previous 10 days or you weren't paying attention or if it was too much to take in, today's going to be an amazing opportunity for you to get caught up because Grant's going to do rapid fire takeaways over the last 10 days of the challenge. So, he's going to be fast and quick. He's going to be fast and quick like he always is, jamming through here.
I ain't that quick. Come on.
He's going to be jamming.
Why you got to go there, Jerry?
You went there first, man. You went there when you walked in.
You want to tell him about the devil, man? The devil, I lost a follower because of the devil.
We're not going to go back there. Some things just remain down in the caverns of hell. Check it out. The takeaways today are going to be awesome because it's going to be a big summary of everything that we've covered over the last 10 days of the 10X challenge, and you will get caught up. And I want to see some participation from you guys today because questions that you have, hopefully you've got your notebook or your notes handy and you've been able to accumulate all those notes. If you don't have them yet, go get them because as you look through and flip through everything that we've covered over the last 10 days, if you have questions, this is going to be a little bit different. We're actually going to bring some of the backstage type experience to the forefront. So we're going to be asking questions and getting questions answered throughout the entire call today, rather than just keeping those for VIP backstage. Special guest today, Glenn Stearns, Undercover Billionaire, Season 1, founder of Stearns Mortgage. He is a guy that has done significant things in his life. He built a massive mortgage company, was worth $500 million, won Entrepreneur of the Year from Ernst & Young. Kind Lending is his new mortgage company in Southern California. So he is a player, and Grant is going to have the opportunity to chop it up with him. Is it the first interview you guys have done together?
Yeah, I've got a couple of calls with him.
So this will be a fun thing to see because this will be the first time. Obviously, Grant's the star of season 2 of Undercover Billionaire. So this will be the first time publicly that they've gotten together and shared. So you guys are in for a real treat, getting behind the lens, if you will, behind the scenes, and into the minds of two guys that have done some really incredible things. So you're really, you're fortunate. You got a front row seat for what we're going to be.
Discovery didn't want us doing this. And we both agreed it was in the best good, the greatest good of the universe to do it.
Yeah, well, you know, the Discovery is going to try to stop something like that. You know, why would they want you guys out promoting the show and, you know, talking about your experiences and getting more viewers to the network? It seems like it's a ridiculous idea. So despite the objections from the Discovery Network, Grant Cardone will be interviewing Glenn Stearns today against their advice, because they got a lot of money. They've been successful. They've done a few things right. This will probably be another one.
That they had so far, Jared, I'd love. I'm watching the feed.
So Grant's looking at the feed right now. He's really interested. Nicole Luttrell in Zoom chat, please stop posting as you are, or you will be removed. Just heads up. So let's hear.
Is she dating the devil?
Let's hear your takeaways, guys. Number one thing that I want to see, other than Grant, who was your favorite speaker? Who was your favorite speaker? Let's see. Jesse, Jay, Jared, Devon. Love that. Jesse, Tim, Vargas, Ty Lopez, Jesse, Tim, Jared, Marcy. You see, I'm getting some love. David Grutman, Darman, Pete. Let's see here. They're flying in here. Oh, wow. Jesse, Ty, Jay, Grutman, Jay, Eric Worre, David, Grutman, Tim Grover, Dar, Jesse, all of them.
Okay, now big takeaways.
So what was your biggest aha? Like if you look back over the entire 10 days of the 10X challenge, what was your biggest like aha moment? What was the thing that hit you hardest of all the notes that you took? If you had to pick one thing that was going to be the thing that you were going to go all in on, what would it be? Believe at the end, in the end of the story. Let's see here. Mindset, goals aren't big enough. Use graphs, engage the enemy, then plan. Relentless courage. Attention follows money. Money follows attention. Never negotiate with your goals. Money is energy. Yeah, it's funny because that's a very interesting thing. And Jay said that. You've said that before. Money is energy. And I thought that was interesting that he said that. Financial mindset, be willing to give something up. Graph what matters most. Goals that are non-negotiable. Think with potential and opportunity. Action over protection. Mindset, make significant goals that can significantly change you. That's a good one. We are dog training. Courage, says Monica Kovacs. Stop being a little bitch, says Ramirez. If something bothers you, it's because it's inside you. It all comes down to action and mindset. The impossible goal. These are amazing. Focus on the top line instead of worrying about the bottom line. One of the most crazy examples Grant went over in a workshop we were doing, and this in the UK was the first time I saw him do this. He was looking at a financial statement. He was talking to a bunch of business owners, and they were talking about how to manage expenses and all these things. And it was the heated discussion between everybody in the room. It was a mastermind group. And he goes, yeah, it was heated. People were getting, well, we got this thing and we amortize this and we do this and depreciate the blue and the blah, blah, blah. And they were spending all this time talking about it. And Grant goes, he said this one thing. He goes, guys, how low can you get your expenses? How low is it possible to get your expenses?
You know that comes from, huh?
How low?
How low can you go?
How low can you go? How low can you guys get on expenses? Let me just see in the comments. How low can you take your expenses either personally or in your business?
Go, Jared, go.
0, right? 0. A lot of you guys getting that. So how low can you get your expenses? 0. How high can you take your income? How high can you take your revenues?
That was a huge revelation for me.
That was a big one.
I spent my whole life trying to get it's me back. You hear the back?
No.
Trying to get my expenses as low as possible. And then one day I had this idea. I'm like, dude, you cannot get it any lower than this. It's really when I got on the 40% rule.
Yeah. So he's got so many little ninja finance tricks. If you guys go back to the personal finance day, like nobody knows money like Grant. And he's a guy that's done extremely well. He's very smart with his money. Like I forget who it was, but we were at a conference and somebody said, Grant, you are cheap. You are so cheap. And Grant goes, no, I'm smart with my money. And he goes, I can't believe that you, it was something, I don't know. It was some stupid, it was Vegas. We were in,
I was playing $25
blackjack. Yeah, $25 blackjack. And he goes, it's crazy. And he goes, man, and the other guy was playing $2,000 a hand. Grant's playing 25. And he goes, dude, why are you so cheap, man? He said, it's crazy. I see you out here on this blackjack table. And if you lose $100, it kills you. But then I watch you go out and drop 75 million on a real estate deal without thinking nothing of it. Like how does that even work? It's so, if you guys notice these little things that you pick up from a guy, being around a guy like Grant, seeing him, he shares so much. Like he's not out buying designer clothes and big gold chains and well, he does buy watches. Yeah, I guess, he does buy watches. But the most important thing when you're looking at people that have legitimate wealth, like Grant has legitimate wealth, it's indestructible wealth. Okay. You have to look at what they did to get where they are, not what they're doing now. Like, Grant goes, he's going to go, I'm going to buy this house on the beach in Bora Bora or Malibu or Miami or whatever. He says, I'm going to go buy this beach. People, oh, you should never buy a house. You said never buy a house. Dude, when you're like in the stratosphere, you could buy a house. You got so much money, you can waste money, like buy a house. And Jared, but most people like, dude, until you're in the 10 million plus, like the rules are just different. Like when you become wealthy, the rules change. And so over the course of these 10 days, I hope you guys picked up some of those things, not that Grant was really talking about, but if you see the things that he's doing, that was one of the things that Tim said yesterday, Tim Grover. He was like, man, I always like watching the things that Grant does, not just always the stuff that he says, but the things that he does, how what he's doing on social media, how he's spinning things and how he's using things. Like it's from a spectator's position, like what is he actually doing? Mm-hmm. And I hope that you guys do the same. Dude, we got some crazy things happening in the contest. I just want to acknowledge everybody who's going all in on the challenge right now. We had some moving and some shaking. We gave away 100,000 points to a bunch of people yesterday. But
that messed things up. Was that a train wreck?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really.
Thank you.
But still at the top of the leaderboard after overtaking it after weeks of relentless work. Ken Dunn, number one, 130,206 points. 130,206 points. Next closest is Norma Jean at 100,074. Christian Ball, 100,040. Michael Samick, 100,029. And so on. Amar, I put you on here, Amar, because you were in second place yesterday. You're up to 69,000 points, but you got some work to do, bro. You got some work to do. Norma Jean, is that her real name? Norma Jean, yeah. Jenny B. Give her 10,000 points.
Give her 10,000 points for a great name.
Okay. Annie will
Is it Baller? Okay.
Annie will take care of that. So congratulations on staying in the top spot, Ken. But the winner of the contest will be announced Saturday at the end of the 10X day. That's when the grand prize will be given away. Keep on pushing, guys. It ain't too late. You never know what this guy's going to do. He gave 100,000 points away to 35 or 40 people yesterday and put them all back in the game. All right. So he got you caught back up. Now it's up to you to figure out what you're going to do with it next. Okay. Winners for homework. $100 winners for homework. Anna Marie Antic, Victoria Nunez, Cadby Kong, Tara Matthews, Nicola Graham, Sonia Reed, Renee Miller, Barbie Wilkins, Sarah Padilla, and Kate Hinderer. Kate Hinderer. Please don't be a hinderer when you're on your 10X path. Do not be a hinderer. Is that a word? Is that a real word? Yeah. Congratulations, all you guys, for doing your homework. $100 each cash coming to each of you. $100 winners for notes. Perry Trank, Allison Cotton, Bridget Polly, Kimberly Joe, Cindy Horan, Lisa Vicknair, Oliver Twist, Kim Lee, Kelly Stansall, Dylan Maxwell Blau. Congratulations, you guys, for doing your homework, showing up every day, doing the work, getting into the 10X challenge. I want to talk about our virtual boot camp because the response has been out of this world. And I want to make sure that everybody knows exactly what they get because a few questions got arose. We had our biggest day yesterday. A lot of people took advantage of the offer, but a lot of questions came up. So I do want to answer a couple of those most commonly asked questions before we get started with Grant today. He's going to be rolling here in about 4 minutes. But before we get into that, one of the most important things that I think you guys need to know about the boot camp is what you get out of it and what you can expect to get out of it. And no better person. I could sit up here and blab about it all day long. Obviously, I know the value. I see the value. I've seen thousands of people go through it and have their lives and businesses changed. But I thought it would be good for you guys to check out some feedback from some people that have had the opportunity to come to the event on their own and experience it for themselves so you could hear it in their words. Johnny, hit the tape.
Not only have we improved our processes, improved our sales scripts, improved our pitches, but we've actually brought in $150,000 in new business opportunities.
My closing rates have gone up and my stats have gone up, and it's just I've been helping now more people with their healthcare needs, and actually our office is growing, and I'm just ready to 10X it, and that's why I'm here, to make it better.
So I'm at the Grant Cardone Boot Camp. This is the second one in a row I've gone to. Last time it was me and my business partner, and our company has gone through the roof. So now I'm hiring more staff and bringing everyone down here so we can all get the education right away. It's awesome.
Yeah. So look, like the stories are real. The people are real. We have about 800 people that come through each event when we run our boot camp 3 times a year. And typically, I'll just be straight up with you guys. Typically, we're getting 90% of the attendees are business owners. They have businesses that are doing 500K or more a year in sales. And because of the ticket price, it's a $3,000 ticket, a $5,000 ticket, a $10,000 ticket. Because of the ticket price, some people get excluded because you go $5,000 for the seat, you go $2,500 for the flight in the hotels. Next thing you know, it's a pretty significant investment. But these folks are having massive, massive changes in their business. So like one guy said, hey, we did $150,000 the first week that we came back from the boot camp. Like what would you, 150,000, what would you invest to make an extra 150,000? We have people that get deals during the boot camp. One of the exercises that we're going to do in the interactive boot camp is we're going to do an instant exercise that puts you into communication with your customers. And it's actually a re-engagement strategy that without fail, every time we do it in the room, and this is one of the live role plays that we'll do in the interactive boot camp, you will get people that ghosted you, that fell out of communication with you, that fell out of the sales process, that re-engage, agree to appointments, and then in some cases, they'll even agree to a deal from one exercise that we do.
If you've been to one of our workshops, post below what you made out of it. If I'm hot, Johnny, am I hot? What have you made? Somebody said $149,000. Like, guys, you have to get the skill set to find out where the money is. Once you find out where it is, then you come up with a strategy how to go get it. Okay. So if you've been to one of our live workshops, just post below 412,000.
Tom Alston. Yeah. He's been to 4 or 5 of them.
And this is the thing about these workshops. People are like, man, how would people spend this much money to go to something? It's not about how much you spend. It's what do you get?
That's right.
My first time, what's up, Serge? Looking forward to interactive, 50 grand.
Mentor program, 24,000 first week.
Yeah, it's not, it's those moments. It's those little things that shift you. And the beautiful thing about the boot camp, Jared, that I'm excited about is so many people get to come in that couldn't normally afford it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, this is the content that we cover at this event is designed to go to work immediately for you and your business. It's designed to generate and drive revenue. This is not the event you come to if you want to jump up and down and feel good. This is the one that you come to if you want to look at your bank account and go, man, that shit worked. And that's what people come to our event and experience. That's what they take away. And that's what you can expect when you take advantage of the 10X Bootcamp Interactive. GrantCardone.com/virtual. For as little as $297, you can reserve your seat. You can do it now. GrantCardone.com/virtual. Couple questions. People asked, number one, for the $497 option, we had a lot of people that called that we talked to when we were confirming ticket prices that did not know that they got a boot or a 10X Growth Conference ticket included in their offer. So when you invest in the level 2 package, the executive package, you get a complimentary seat for the 10X Growth Conference this year in Las Vegas. This is the #1 business conference of its kind. Okay, we bring in the top celebrities and entrepreneurs in the world, people that are knocking down billions of dollars in revenue so that they can share their stories. The 10X Growth Conference is about putting on display what's possible. It's very different from the boot camp. The boot camp is about specific strategies and tactics. The Growth Con is to show you what's possible. The Growth Con is the rocket fuel, and the boot camp is the spaceship. Like, is that a fair depiction of it?
Yeah.
Like, you got to have the rocket ship. You got to have the structure. You got to have the bones. You got to have the electronics. Everything has to work inside. But then you got to put some rocket fuel on that if you want to make it into outer space. And so that's how you want to look at these two events. You need to have both.
So it's an easy decision.
Yeah, it's absolutely free. GrantCardone.com/virtual. It comes, the Growth Conference seat comes with the executive package, and it comes with the VIP package. Executive package $497, VIP package is $2,000. Another question that we had asked was the programs. So the online training package that's included with the executive package and the VIP package, the most common question we got about this program is, how long do they get access to the programs for? So inside the 10X training, the 10X Challenge Starter Kit, which includes the 10X Super Life program, the negotiating masterclass, the How to Make Millions in Business program, and the recession response training. All those programs are in this book. This is about how much content it is. You get lifetime access to this program. Somebody was like, on my Instagram, they're like, that book's so big, how am I possibly going to get through all that content? Don't worry about it. Keep access to it for life. So as long as you're around, you'll have access to it. So the people were asking about access to the program. They were asking about the Growth Conference seat. And then, they were asking about getting their questions answered. So what we're doing basically at the boot camp is we're going to have over 1,000 people live on screens that are going to be displayed so that Grant can see. Let me just show you. If you can see how this screen looks right here. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see this? See all those screens there? So we're going to have all those people. These are all of our backstage. If you're backstage right now, wave so everybody can see you. Wave if you're backstage. See everybody moving around back there? Each of those boxes is going to be about 1 foot by 1 foot, 12 inches by 12 inches.
A room full of these.
In a big, massive ballroom on screens that are 40 feet around and 22 feet high, with a massive LED screen behind us. So this is going to be an immersive experience. Like I said, the format of this is going to be different than our normal boot camp. You know, somebody asked, hey, I've been to the boot camp before. How's this going to be different? Great question. Glad you asked. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to be doing smaller training sessions and longer execution sections. So Grant's going to teach you, and then we're going to break off, and you're going to get together in a breakout room, and you're going to do your exercises. And then you're going to, with the other attendees, you guys are going to have discussion with some moderation from our team. So it's going to be a very unique experience. Our goal is to make sure that you can take this information, put it to work. We don't want to teach you. We want to see you in action with the material. That ultimately is what will get you the result. So we're super excited about it. We're super excited to have you. GrantCardone.com/virtual. The prices are insane. $297, $497 if you want the boot camp and the Growth Con seat. So you get 2 events for the price of 1. And then the VIP seat for $2,000 to get you backstage VIP access all 3 days for the boot camp. You get access to the VIP lunch, and then you're going to get a pre and a post coaching session so that we can set you up for the event, so that we can close you out on the event. And then 10 lucky finalists from our VIP ticket holders will have the opportunity to pitch their business live on Saturday night.
Let me go. Come on, man. Let me go. Let me
Okay.
go.
All right.
Let me go. Jared did a good job.
I'll just stop.
I got to get in here. I got to get in here. I got to get in here and get you guys these takeaways, okay? Because I want to bring Glenn in, and Jared did a great job today.
Yeah.
I know you guys, but what Jared's saying to you is, hey, we don't want to just teach you. We want you to walk away with a plan. And that's what we can do virtual that we have not been able to do in the past. Like literally, you just cannot do it in a room with 1,000 people in a room, and they're all sitting next to each other talking and going to the restroom. Doing this way, we can actually teach some information, break. You literally punch a button and you pop into a group of people. We will put you in similar groups that because you get a questionnaire when you'll be getting a questionnaire, kind of laying out your business, your problems, your situations. And our goal over these 3 days is in each session, literally in the first 40 minutes of this event, you're going to come out with an action plan. You do not need to wait 3 days to get it. For those of you who have already signed up, this book right here that we are sending out, this audio lifetime program, is going to support you long after you leave this 3-day event. So please take advantage of that. It is a ridiculous way for us to help you get better at what you want to get better at, building your business, growing your business, and making your dream a reality. What I want to do today, and Jared said, Grant, you got to go share the takeaways today. You got to go share. You got to go wrap up what everybody got, so that for those of you who haven't joined, you haven't joined the boot camp, you're not coming. I want to make sure you get everything that you can get from this. So maybe you leave this and you don't do something. You decide for whatever reason, I'm not going to do that boot camp. I'm going to go it alone. I'm going to do this thing by myself. I want to make sure you have all the information you need. Because look, there are some people that are disciplined enough to get an idea and take it to the marketplace and bring it home. I'm not that guy. And even when I am that guy, I'm still better off with a coach. Tim Grover showed up here yesterday. I'm like, Tim, I'm just better off with somebody. I do an extra set when I got a guy saying, one more set, I know you can do them. So you guys that want to go alone, I'm with you. I got it. I understand. And I know I was a loner, a lone wolf most of my life. And I can just tell you the thing about the lone wolf, if you want takeaways today, and I've said it every day I've been in here, life is difficult. And there was a guy that wrote a book. The whole book was really about, there was a famous line in it, life is difficult. And he became famous for that book. It was years and years ago. Peter, I don't know, maybe look it up online. Life is difficult. And life is difficult. Let me tell you how it gets worse. It gets worse if you're alone. Then it becomes even more difficult because you're by yourself fighting. Okay. No. Yeah, Scott Peck. Scott Peck wrote a book called Life is Difficult. I forget the name of the book. It's a good, yeah, The Road Less Traveled. The Road Less Traveled. It's a very famous book. He was extremely popular for a period of time about it. And it was basically saying life is difficult. But let me just tell you, there are some things that make life easier. Okay. I want my life to be easier. Everybody's talking about being happy. I'm like, good, but I just needed to get a little easier, Okay. How do I get it easier? I don't go alone. I did it. It doesn't work. I'm telling you, if you guys are great, if you're strong, if you know how to execute by yourself, get someone that can get in your court. Okay. Don't go it alone. Okay. Get the right person. I'm not talking about the person you sleep with. We're talking about a different person, okay? I picked the person I sleep with for a lot of other reasons. I pick partners in business for other reasons. I don't sleep with the partners I have in business. So I don't want to go it alone. In a lot of areas of my life, by the way, I need someone to help guide me, direct me, ask me the right question, give me the right time at the right time. So don't go it alone. This marketplace is going to become very difficult, very, very sloppy in the future. November 4th, we're going to know hopefully who the president is. And this thing's going to get ugly. Either way this thing goes. I wake up every morning. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to get weird. Okay. And so don't go it alone. Get around the right group. You're better in a pack. Just make sure the pack all wants the same thing. Wake up in the morning, you go hunt to take care of the pack. All right, so let me give you the takeaways, all right? And the way you can do that, by the way, is grantcardone.com/virtual. Join this thing. You'll never, ever regret it. I promise you. And we'll get to know you and your business better. Hopefully, you're going to spend millions of dollars with me, not $297. I want you guys all, if you guys do vision boards, if you do any kind of meditation or thinking about your future or visualizing or whatever you call it, you got to put in there that you got $10 million invested with me. $10 million pays you about 600 grand a year, 50,000 bucks a month. Should be on your vision board. It's on Jared's vision board. Okay. Cardone Capital's paying me 50 grand a month. Dude, that's sweet. That's sweet. That does make life easier. By the way, you're not going to do that alone. You're not going to get $50,000 a month in income all by yourself. Just not going to happen. It's never happened. Nobody's ever done it. So let me get to the takeaways. grantcardone.com/virtual is your first takeaway. Obviously, you want to have something to pull you forward, okay? Number one, have something that always pulls you forward. I talked about this probably 6 days. How do you stay motivated? How do you stay excited? Have something pull you forward rather than push you from behind, okay? On day one, we talked about goals. Your goals, they need to be big and giant. Why? The big takeaway on that day was, look, if you had a goal big enough, giant enough, that would change your life enough, you would walk on glass 30 miles to go get that thing. In fact, you would stop. You would not use any more of your excuses. Okay, if you want to know how to get rid of the excuses, the procrastination, the insanity that we all have experienced somewhere in our life of not prioritizing what's important, all you got to do is have a goal so big, a goal so nasty, okay, a goal probably that you can't even reach, but that will change your life so significantly that you're like, dude, okay, I'm a single mother. I got 2 kids. They're at school right now, or they're at home by themselves. There's $600 million down the street. There's a completely different lifestyle. I get to go free forever. I can take care of my kids forever. I'll figure out the problem with the kids being by themselves for the next 4 hours. Okay. Everybody agree with that? You need some goals that are giant. I'm not talking about an IRA with some dough in it when you're old and wrinkled. Okay, I'm not talking about, I'm going to go to the Marriott once a year and eat the free food they got in the buffet line with a bunch of other people that are worried about putting it on the credit card. I'm not talking about, by the way, listen to me, paying off your credit cards. That ain't a goal. You guys got to think bigger than that. Okay, I'm giving you the takeaways in case you missed a day or missed a moment. Paying off American Express cannot be the thing you wake up and go to sleep to. Like, dude, this is it, bro. I'm going to pay my house off. Yes, I am. And then I will not worry about anything. Okay. Dude, how about this goal? Rather than paying I rent homes all over the world, and I waste hundreds of thousands of dollars every week on these great places I go to. Me and Jared talk about this. This is me and Jared. We have this fantasy that one day we're just going to be able to go from place to place and run our business. And okay, so big, giant goals. You guys agree with that? How many of you like that idea? Dude, I need to stay attached to this idea, attached to it, to this massive idea, this big 10X goal, this thing that's so big, you know? In your book, in your notes, if you took them the other day, I think we sent you the wrong note. It says, if the goal is big enough, the nail will find the hammer. The truth is, the hammer will find the nail. If the goal is big enough, okay?
Who's the goal? Who's the hammer? Who's the nail?
Yeah, you're the hammer. The nail is the target, is the goal, okay? You see a nail finds a hammer. Hammer finds a nail, okay? Be like, that's a nail, man. Shit, I got to hit that nail, okay? All right. You know, when you were a kid, you were riding a bicycle. And Jared mentioned a program yesterday, the rules of success. You're going to hear the rules of success in the program that you got here. Jared's favorite program that he mentioned yesterday. A lot of people are like, is that included in there? Of course it is. I got you covered. Okay. Always got you covered. Jared, in that program, I said, when I was a kid, you know, my older brother kept telling me what not to do. And I think he had a little trick. He just to fuck with me. He's like, I'm going to tell him what not to do. And then he knew I would put it's like, don't think about a pink elephant. He'd be like, do not put the front wheel in the crack. Do not put the front wheel in the crack. Stay away from the crack. You know where the edger goes in Louisiana, where they edge tight, that Augustine grass, that dark green Augustine. He's like, stay in the middle of the sideway. Do not get to the crack, to the crease, of course, that's where I went. All I could do was think about the damn crease. Stay away from the crease. Stay away. And bang, every time I go into it, that front wheel getting there, I'd fall, skin my knee. And so the point of that story is what you focus on, both in a positive way and a negative way, you somehow end up going to. And some people call this the law of attraction. I don't actually call it the law of attraction. Look at Doug. Doug, go get you some oxygen, son. God damn. Get you some oxygen. He's throwing back right now, getting him a big yawn in. What's wrong with you, man? Go get you some O2. Trump's got him some oxygen right now. Okay. So dude, how do you guys clean this thing up? Because we all know people that are positive. We all know people that think about, oh, I'm going to image and I'm going to meditate the future. Like there's plenty of meditators out there that end up with nothing. You could end up with a best-selling book that never makes you any money, by the way. You guys got to put this whole game together. I'm going to become the top movie maker in the world. Good, but what if your movies don't make any money? Well, Grant, I would make money, Grant, if I'm the top movie maker. Not necessarily, folks. There's this thing about the Academy Award. Once you win one, you don't get any more work after that. So we all know the ball player that won the ring. He won one ring. Or two rings, and then Tim Grover talked about him yesterday, spent the rest of his life celebrating. He ends up with nothing. He ends up broke in an institution, okay? Day 2, we talked about what happens after the goals, okay? After the goals, dude, these are the characteristics. You got to, my little board, man. You know what? I don't think the board's the problem. I think it's me. Is it possible, guys, that it's me?
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
Okay.
Easy.
So gentle.
So sweet. Man, you look like you're writing with pure empathy on that board.
Dude, what are the characteristics of successful people? I've been studying successful people like Glenn Stearns, that'll be on with me later today, for I don't know, since I was 10 years old. Fascinated, probably like you, fascinated. I remember watching gangster movies when I was 9 years old in my mom's house, watching them just like, I was always looking for the boss. I'm watching the baller, watching the boss, watching the king, watching the don, watching the capo. Okay. Then I'd flip to another show and watch the head of the household, the leading character. We're fascinated by that. Why? Because that's in you. Okay. And what are the ones that last have in common? Discipline, fortitude, persistence. This is why people love heroes and the Marvel characters and the Supermans and the Batmans. Discipline, fortitude, persistence, courage. I'm going to save Gotham City. You know, that speaks to people because you want to save your family. You want to be the superhero to your kids. I know you do. But it requires a system, folks. Okay, what was Batman's superhero? What's Batman's? Superman could fly, right?
Yeah. What was Batman's superpower?
Yeah. What's his superpower?
Well, he was 2 people.
He's fucking rich.
Yeah.
That's his superpower. Batman didn't have a superpower. He's a freaking rich dude that bought his equipment. Okay, he bought all of his equipment, man. He wanted to save the city, dude. He had the Batmobile. The Batmobile didn't come from kryptonite. Okay. It couldn't fly. Okay. He created all that equipment because he had a team around him and he was strong because of that. And then of course he had Robin. Robin's questionable dude though. Okay. Iron Man was a rich dude.
Whatever happened
Okay.
to Robin though, like in the Batman Begins one, because that was the best Batman ever, you know, like.
Yeah. I think Robin's with Anderson Cooper now.
Do you think money buys friends?
Does money buy friends? No, money doesn't buy friends.
Batman has Robin. How do you explain that?
I don't know if they were friends though.
They
You
were
think Robin and Batman were friends? No, I think that there was a relationship, a senior and a junior relationship. They were on a mission. They were mission characters. Yeah. So look, okay, but what do these people have in common? What do you need in your life? Discipline, fortitude, persistence, courage, commitment, vision, handle rejection. Everybody wants the success. Nobody wants this, man. You want to go to heaven? You got to die, folks. You got to die. These are the characteristics that can be developed. Handle rejection, confidence, a risk taker, momentum. I guarantee you, if Glenn Stearns is listening to me right now, he's like, yeah, man. He is sitting there going through his head, him and Mindy, his wife Mindy, which they're fantastic people. They're like, discipline checks it off. Fortitude, the ability to push through when it's painful. Okay, I'm not talking about persistence. People can have persistence and not have fortitude. One of the reasons I'm having Glenn today is because Glenn went 90 days with no money. It's stupid. Okay. Persistence, courage, commitment, momentum. How do I get momentum? I know so many people that are disciplined and never know how to get momentum. And once they get the momentum, they break their discipline. They celebrate their successes, and they actually break and violate the thing that made them successful, which is what brought us to day 3, which was accountability and graphs. Yeah, that's a great idea. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share the first 5 days with you, go over that today, bring Glenn in. And then tomorrow I'll recap the rather than rushing through 10 of these. I know a lot of you liked Eric Worre the other day because he had 25. You guys love lists. It's probably why the 10 Commandments was so big, you know? Okay. Now I know what not to do. The problem is, man, what?
Don't try to crack.
Yeah. I know what not to do, but guys, sooner or later, people got to tell you what to do. Like, it's probably why I'm a bit of a rebel today, because I've been told my whole life what not to do. And all I knew was just tell me what to do. I'll do that. I won't even see the crack or the drugs or that or this or whatever it is you're telling people not to do. The more you tell people what not to do, the more interested they becoming in what not to do. Okay. Like, just tell me what to do. Keep me busy on what to do. That's the lane. It's a mental lane. Okay. It's a mental lane. Hey, get me to there. Get me to there. And I don't rubberneck at the car wreck. Everybody's rubbernecking. I'm like, go. Okay. I need to know where I'm going. All right. Exactly. I tell my kids, hey, be dangerous. Be dangerous. The nanny's like, be careful. No. Be dangerous. Be dangerous. You'll never hurt yourself. The kid is not the one at risk. It is the adult, the teacher. They're skiing the mountain. When do people get hurt on that ski mountain? What run hurts more people? It's the last one going down. Man, it's the last run of the day. I'm tired, man. I probably shouldn't be doing this run. I'm not going to do this run.
We were
Do
in
you
Deer
know in
Valley.
the NFL, there was more injuries last year in the NFL than there have been by player, because they're starting to worry more. The more they worry about the players, the more they add safeguards, the more they say, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, don't touch him, this is going to be a fine. The more you worry, the more you hurt yourself. Where am I going? Okay. What am I willing to do to get there? Back to number 1. Okay. Number 3. Okay. Once I build in my disciplines, my characteristics, my successes, by the way, you're going to do that by hanging out with the right people. GrantCardone.com/virtual. Come spend 3 days with me. For some of you that want to come in there, you want to come live, you want to come into our event. We're inviting a whole bunch of you to come to our offices. Stay close to us. Get closer to us. And then you're going to get in here and you're going to be like, you're going to ask some of my people, maybe you see Alan or Johnny or Sherry on the road and you're like, dude, is that guy, what's he like? What's he like when he's not doing his shit? Johnny, how many people have asked you that?
Hundreds
Okay.
of people.
Okay.
I tell them he's the same dude.
Dude, Ryan Secco says, man, I get around. He was at Savannah at the Gulfstream getting, hey, what's your boss really like? Not the one on the camera. What's the dude really like? Okay. You got to get around some people, man, that actually breathe discipline, okay? Breathe commitment, okay? That know how to pick up a phone. I don't tell people what to do. There's nothing I say. I said it to our staff today. I do not want to be a hypocrite organization. Whatever we teach people to do, we must do it, period. I must do what I preach. I don't want to be that guy, okay? 3, accountability. If you don't measure it, you can't move it. You guys got to be taking notes right now, right? Remember this? If you can't measure it, you can't move it. If I can't see it, touch it, look at it, I cannot do anything about it. This is what changed me with money when I was broke at 25 years old. It's what we'll spend the first 3 hours at our boot camp doing. GrantCardone.com/virtual. We're going to get you accountable on your money. We're going to get you to look at what you don't and won't look at. Because if you don't look at it, you can't move it, you can't change it. If you can't see it, you can't do anything about it. So if you can't measure it, you can't move it. The most important the stat is, the more important the statistic is. Like, this is a game changer for you in your life, okay? I don't know if we have any graphs here. Sherry, you showed me some earlier. Everything that's important to this company, we have a graph for. Anything that we suffer with consistently, like where I don't have graphs, I go into anxiety. You guys are like, oh my God, I'm anxious all the time. Get a fucking graph. It's better than a damn pill, okay? Graphs will solve your anxieties. Yeah, sure. Graphs will solve your anxieties. Any graph can be lifted, any graph can be driven down, and all graphs are driven up or down by people. Okay? Graphs do not just happen. It's pretty hard to see, huh?
These are biggies.
Oh man, we're bringing in the graphs now.
Look,
We got graphs. So they're on big monitors all over the office. I mean, here's our total landing page visitors, okay? September 12th, September 24th, there was 7,800. By September the 29th, it was down to 4,200. See, this is what an executive should always look at. And every one of you out there are executives. Let me see that one, okay? This is Alex Grant. This is one of our salespeople. I don't know Alex. Oops. Let me see. I hit the wrong little button there, guys. I don't know Alex. Hey, how's Alex doing? You know what I'm gonna say? They'd be like, hey, you met Alex? No, let me see his graph. Is Alex a girl or guy? Is he young or old? I don't care. I don't care. That's why people are like, hey man, you know, like, how do you judge people? I judge them on the graph. Because the graph don't lie. It's still so bright, Johnny, it's almost impossible. Okay. Now, I don't know what this kid's doing right now. I don't know Alex. If Alex walked in here right now, Sherry would be like, hey, dude, that's Alex. That's Alex. I'd be like, fuck, hey, come over here and give me Uncle G a hug, boy. See, I can trust Alex because what do I see in this graph? Discipline, fortitude, persistence. You guys judge all the wrong shit, man. Same thing with programs. Same thing if you're a manager of a project or you got a kid. I got my kid on graphs. My kids are on graphs. They feel better. Okay. My kids self-govern themselves on sugar, on TV consumption, because they're on graphs. I don't tell them what not to do. I tell them what to do. Sabrina's doing 2 hours of freaking fighting a day right now. They just finished scuba classes in 3 days. They said it's going to take them 5 days to get through the classes. Under 3 days, 3 kids, 2 of them are mine. 1 of them somebody else's. And I'm telling you, give a kid a graph and the kid has a target now, something they can measure, okay? Graphs don't lie. People and feelings lie. The media lies. Your mama will lie to you. Those who refuse graphs are always problems. I'm telling you, this is one of the most important days we did right here, and I didn't see anybody talk about it in the takeaways. Graphs changed my life, folks. Anything that works for me, I will do. This is why I say, you show me something that works, I'll read it. You show me anything. If the Quran will work, is it called the Quran?
Yes.
Look, show me something that'll move my graph. Let's roll. It make me happier, make me more prosperous, make me more giving. I'll read it. Okay. And any God would want me to read something that makes me better. Managers who don't have graphs aren't managers. Okay. Managers who don't have graph aren't managers. The closer you are to the action, and also all of you out there that are doing programs, you're buying programs. If it don't move your graph, you either don't understand it or it's not right for you. Could be that you don't understand something. And that's why I tell you, man, quit getting so many input from so many different people because you're trying to do too many things. You got to decide what protein you're going to eat before you find out. You can't try every protein and everything that's going to be good for your body before you're like, I don't even know what got me better. So commit to something for some period of time. And then you can judge the graph and say, oh, wow, I actually grew muscle on that protein. And now you can identify that's the one that did it. Okay. And in this case, it's 10X. If you're going to do Tony 1 week and then do me 1 week and then do somebody else the next week and then go, it's just going to be very confusing. And that's why we wanted to control the people that came in today, because we want to be like, hey, Glenn, how do you relate to this topic? And we could kind of control what you're hearing. The closer you are to the action, the closer you want to look at that graph. And then number 7, find who and what lifts a graph. And double down. Okay, what worked? What table's paying? You go to Vegas. Man, hey, what table's paying in here? Go to that table. Don't go to just any table. Ain't nobody at the table. Why you think ain't nobody at the table? They all got wrecked. They in their room now crying. Okay. But you see, what happens is we don't want to go to that table because that table's 100. I'm telling you, you're better off at a $100 table that's paying than a $10 table that's beating everybody to death. But notice how we think. I don't belong at that table. By the way, speaking of ballers and shot callers, we created a page, grantcardone.com/baller. Is that it? We have spot for 20 people, $12,500. 12, is that right?
15.
Oh, 15 people minimum, maximum 15 people at $12,500. You can come to our virtual boot camp and be one of 15 people that participate in this three.
We don't, the space is.
We don't have the space.
Yeah.
It's a $3 million event that we set up. And you'll be one of, you'll be a ball. You'll be a VIP. Okay. If you've already bought a seat, we'll apply to the 12.5. It requires you to come down to Florida. You got to get a hotel room. The hotel's on you. The airfare's on you, and the COVID's on you. Okay. You get the COVID. By the way, I had it. I had the COVID. A lot of people had it. You know, you're going to be all right. Everything's going to be fine, man. Shit, there's a lot of viruses on this planet, folks. I mean, yeah, grantcardone.com/baller. Who wants that, by the way? Who's like, hey, dude, I want to come spend, I'd rather give 12 grand and spend 3 days with you to watch you pull this deal off. Then you're like, damn, money, man. It's the money, man. It's the money. You guys got it wrong, man. I'm telling you. Just like I did. I had it wrong. I just did not understand money. The more you spend, the more you win, folks. Every time I tried to get a better deal, I was always disappointed in the product. I have never made a good deal paying less. How many agree with that? I've never got a better deal because I paid less.
Somebody once had this. It was like cheap, fast, quality, and like it was like you can't get these together.
You
like
can't. You cheap and fast.
Yeah.
You don't get good. It's
Yeah.
McDonald's. I say cheap and fast.
Mm-hmm.
What was the button? Somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You know. If it's easy, it's probably not that good for you. You know, and if it's hard to get to, I was with a guy when I started like kind of having my breakthroughs, which has only been in the last 10 or 12 years. You know, Glenn Stearns, he's been successful for 30 years, he's been kicking it. So it took me a long time to start figuring some of this out, but I was in Capri in the island of Capri in Italy, off of the continent of it. It was Elaine and I were together. So it had to be in the last 12 or 13 years. And I said, I'm staying at the nicest place. I had made a decision. I am no longer going to stay in the cheap places. I'm not making decisions based on how much something costs. I'm going to start making all my decisions based on where I have an opportunity to meet someone that will give me a lift. Not just because I meet them, talk to them, and they tell me something. Because when you're in Italy, you're probably not going to understand what the guy's talking about anyway. Anyway, I'm at a swimming pool in Capri. There's this dude, and I can tell this guy's he's a baller. You can just tell. Alan reminds me of this guy. He's a big dude. You could tell he ate a lot. He ate all the time, but you could tell he ate good foods too. I mean, he was a rich dude. He was used to wine, the port, just living life. You could tell he was a Rolls Royce kind of guy. He's a big body dude, right? And I said, hey, what do you do for a living? And he's like, got a big Panerai on I'd never seen before. And he's like, I own every parking meter in the Eastern Soviet bloc. I said, excuse me? He says, I own, and he's so proud too, I own every parking meter in the Eastern Soviet bloc. I'm like, damn, cash flow. You'll never meet that guy at the Holiday Inn, folks.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you. This, you know, like just meeting him, getting in the same swimming pool with him. I'm like, damn, I'm this close. I'm this close to a guy. I'm this close to a guy that made a different decision than some of the decisions that I grew up with. Okay. So day 4, financial intelligence, the 5 pillars of building a business. 1, financial intelligence. 2, marketing genius. You must become a genius. Okay, at marketing. We will spend an entire afternoon talking about marketing genius, sales and closing. Somebody at your company has to learn how to sell it. Somebody needs to learn how to get it. And somebody at your company needs to know how to multiply and execute on that customer. So the 5 things we went over there: financial intelligence. There's actually financial IQ, marketing genius. 3, sales and closing. Somebody in your company has to become responsible for, like, I can sell them, I can negotiate with them, I can close the deal, I can get the money. 4, execution of the plan. Who is the executor? Typically, these are different people. I have like 3 of these. I do 3 of these. I leave the rest to the rest of the team. Like, I'm great at 1, 2, and 3. I'm really having to work now, bring partners and mentors on 4 and 5, execution of the plan. That's why I bring partners in. Sherry helps me execute, and then building the team and scaling it out, how to actually scale something out. So we're not just in one location, one state, but maybe all around the world. That requires investments for me to get better at the things I don't know how to do. Day 5, we covered money, financial mindset. Okay. The financial mindset, the guy I'm bringing in today, him and Mindy, they were in Bora Bora last week. Okay. If you've never been to Bora Bora, that's a trip right there. I know he flew private, probably had a big yacht over there, hanging out in a private house. We'll find out here in a second. But there's 5 basically 5 wealth categories. If you don't know what they are, if you missed that day, and then we'll bring Glenn in. Number 1, poverty. There's no way out of this situation. I'm doomed. I grew up poor. I don't have any way to get out. The neighborhood's poor. Every once in a while, somebody pops out of that neighborhood and becomes a superstar. Yeah, he used to live here. And the rest of the neighborhood doesn't ever change. Okay, number 2, just getting by. This is middle class, lower middle class, suffering, trouble, single mom. I'm not trying to identify anybody. Husband and wife, a couple of kids. Probably don't move around, don't travel much, can never get ahead. You're arguing about who's going to win the election, but it ain't going to matter to you, dude. You made $68,000 last year. You moved to California. You made 98. You still didn't get ahead. Got a big freaking. You got moved again. They moved you to New York. You're making $158,000 a year. By the way, you could still be just getting by, making $158,000 or $250,000. I know people making $1 million a year can't get ahead. They just idiots. 3, comfortable, the comfortable. Oh, I finally got out of number 1 and number 2, and I'm good. I'm good. I can't travel with Glenn and Mindy, but I'm all comfortable. I don't even want to travel with Glenn and Mindy. Who would want to go to Bora Bora? Come on, man. And have fun and laugh and drink freaking expensive wine. Nobody wants to do that shit. That's be on a flight 14 hours to get there private. Okay. 4, country club rich. This guy, by the way, is in a trap. He buys a set of golf clubs twice, couple times every 2 or 3 years, gets him a new set. Always got a new glove on. He's got his little shirt, got his little white shoes on. He always looks good too. He's got his cars are paid for. He's all proud. Tells everybody, all my shit's paid for, man. But this guy secretly has 2 little private thoughts all the time. Man, what if something happened? And number 2, fuck, what if I'd have really gone for it? 2 little private scenarios number 4's got. He is mentally in set one. He knows he hadn't done everything he could do. He could have doubled down. And then of course there's number 5, and that's who I'm gonna bring on right now. The people that get truly wealthy in life, financially wealthy, spiritually wealthy. And I've had a whole bunch of different people here. People that feel good about themselves, people that have tremendous courage, willing to take on new things. You know, Glenn Stearns, the guy I'm gonna bring in today, he and I have something in common that I don't know if any other 2 people on the planet has ever done. And this guy's done a lot of stuff I haven't done. He's the founder of Kind Lending, a new mortgage company established back in 1989 in Southern California. His company grew to become the #1 wholesale lender in America. That means they're not lending to you. They're lending to finance companies that lend to you. I mean, you couldn't even get to him. He helped 1 million families achieve home ownership. Is that good? Glenn, we got to talk, okay? He was named Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year. I'll never get that. I know I'll never get it because I'll never say the right things, Glenn. I got to learn so much from you. He was inducted into the Horatio Alger Association of Distinguished Americans. Man, this guy's royalty. Sold his company. He's beat cancer twice. Star of Discovery Channel's Undercover Billionaire, where he went 90 days, took $100, turned it into $750, built him a business. He's going national with his company. Serial entrepreneur, soon to be a good friend of mine. I know I can just feel it. Him and Mindy are going to roll with us. So, Glenn Stearns, great to have you at our 10X challenge.
How you doing?
Good, man. Good to have you here.
Hey, your hair, it's growing back. What happened?
Yeah, slowly. You know, I had to shave this 4 times. Glenn's referring because I reached out to him before I did the show and when I finished it. So, Glenn, where do we start with you, man?
Where do we start? Hey, I think, when I've listened to a lot of what you're saying, and it's about really making no excuses, right? Where you came from has no excuse on where you're going. And so, matter of fact, I look back on my life and think about where I started and I use that as fuel for where I'm going. And so just a lot of those things that I'm hearing that are very common with what, I think a lot of the people out there need to understand. So
you got a nice little suntan on going right now. Were you in Bora Bora? How long were you in Bora Bora?
We were there a week. I finished doing a little more of the discovery stuff like you did. And so I felt kind of guilty and thought I better take some time with the family. And so we went and relaxed out there for a little while.
So Glenn, your life, just tell everybody how you grew up and then what you did with your business.
Sure. So I grew up in right outside of Washington, D.C. My dad was a printer. My mom was a grocery checker and cleaned houses. We lived with the bars on the windows, the whole thing, and failed 4th grade. By the time I got to 8th grade, I had my first child, at 14.
Wow. That is crazy.
It's kind of crazy. And first to go to college in my family. No one had, even dreamed of going to college. So went and did that and found myself right after college. I drove out with a buddy of mine to California. We just drove until we couldn't drive any farther. And I ended up on a bench by myself over the ocean, looking out at these beautiful homes and these cars and these beautiful people. And I thought, I want this, right? Like, this is what I want. And so I walked up to the man in his yard. He was cutting the bushes. And I said, how did you get this house? Like, what did it take to get this? And the man says, Senor, I'm the gardener. He says, I have no idea. He goes, but I think the guy was in real estate. And I said, really? I'm going to get into real estate. And so I stayed in California. That was 1988. So 32 years ago, and never looked back.
How important was that, seeing that being real to you, Glenn? And then also, had you not gone on that trip?
Yeah, well, that's funny because a lot of my friends, a lot of my buddies, they, when you get lost, when you take chances, when you, go off and do something that you're uncomfortable with, a lot of people are afraid of that, right? That fear holds you there. And when I was a little kid, my mom would put me in the car with my sister and she'd go, let's go, we're going to get lost. And we'd drive and drive and drive and get to some farm, and she'd pull over and go, oh no, we'd say, we're lost, and it would be such a fun opportunity to find our way back home. And so I see a lot of people that are afraid to get outside of their own little comfort zone. And, luckily I grew up in a family where being lost was exciting, right? It was something that you wanted to do, where you ended up in a position that you could, go off and discover new things instead of be afraid of losing something that you had. So I think that was ingrained early on, but that was kind of what happened by going out to California was, let's go get lost. Let's see what we can do,
Yeah. And then where in Southern California were you and your buddy? What's your buddy's name, by the way? I'm curious about who you were.
Parker Parsons. He's living in Maryland now. He ended up working for me after years after, he went back to Maryland, but we ended up in a place called Costa Mesa, right outside of Santa Ana. And I found that bench I ended up on was in Corona del Mar, Ocean Drive, overlooking the ocean. I've gone to it many, many times, back to that same bench just to get more inspiration, right? Because it was about just sitting and thinking your dreams, right? And then writing them down and saying, I'm going to go for it. And when that man told me that, the guy that owned the house was in real estate, that was the first thing I just said, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to go in real estate. I never went back. My friend, he left, he went home and he said, well, what are you going to do with all your stuff? I said, you can have it. I don't care. I'm going to stay. I became a waiter. And then I got a job as a loan officer. 10 months later, I started my own company. And, we just started from there. That was 1989.
Yeah. So what is it you saw, Glenn? Because I'm gonna tell you, I know you know La Jolla. I was in La Jolla when I was 29 years old at Windansea Beach. You probably know where it is.
Right. Very well.
I had this exact experience that you're talking about. I was there, and the second I was there was something that pulled me and said, you have, I looked down the coastline, I saw all this wealth. It was material wealth that I saw. It wasn't cars or Lambos. I didn't even know the difference between a Lambo and a truck, but there was something that pulled me there. And it wasn't, I'm gonna live in a big house. It was something about success and I don't know. I just want you to talk about, what was it you saw when you were there?
I think it's the ultimate game, right? It's like, you can play this game and you can see how far you go in it. And it's okay to fall back. It's okay to not get everything you want, but then it's about just seeing if you can get another piece. Monopoly, what a great game, right? And it was like, can I keep getting more and more of these pieces? And, but to me, ultimately, happiness was about, it was about going out and doing things, right? It was about making moments and experiences. But to get to those experiences, to get to those moments, you got to have money. A lot of times you got to have the ability to have that fuel to be able to get you there. And so, I just started looking at everything like it was a game. What can I get out of it? And not taking it personal. When people said no, okay, how many more no's do I need to get to my yes, right? And it was just a game. I can remember.
Where did that conditioning, Glenn, come from? Where did you, because it seems really natural for you. You and I have, very different personalities. So
I was a kid and I started working at 8 years old, and I delivered papers. They were penny a paper, free papers, right? And I would give them around the neighborhood. Then when I got to be 11 years old, I started selling papers. And you can't do this today, but they would put me and a bunch of other young kids in a van. We go off to apartment complex and we would sell the journal, and it was a paper where they had to pay for it, right? And that became a game to me. I can remember I got so good at my speech as I knocked on that door and asked for them to buy my paper, right? That I began to be able to analyze people and see what they were doing. So I'll tell you, I did it a million times. I would take my papers, put them in my hand. I had like 10 papers. I'd knock on the door, and when it opened, I'd go, hi. And I'd literally put my foot in the door so they couldn't slam the door, right? So I would go, hi, and I would hand the paper to the person. And I go, hi, my name's Glenn Stearns. I work for the Montgomery County Journal. You can help me win prizes and cash bonuses, get readers for a paper coverage all your local news, like sports, editorials, whining, dining, and other instant articles. And you can help me win a brand new 10-speed bike. I would say that over and over and over again but I would look in their eyes. Am I going to get this guy? Is he going to go for it? You know, I'd get on my knees. Come on, I just need one more sale. And, you know, it was a fun thing to do because at the end of the day, how many did you get? How many did you get? You know, I'd always want to be the rock star, right? You know, I want to get the most. And so it wasn't about the money. Okay. Now I know, you know, there's a lot of flash that comes with that. It was always for me about the game. It was fun.
Yeah. So now, how important was it for you to learn? Because like in any game, like you want to win, right?
Right.
And so how important was it for you to learn that pitch at the door? Because I think that this is something that people could do if they were going to college, like learning this front door pitch that builds a lot of legs for an individual.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, another term for it nowadays would be an elevator pitch, right? I mean, you're going to do your elevator pitch, your 2 minutes, your 30-second pitch for whatever you're doing, whatever you're selling, whatever you're passionate about. And so you have to be able to know your shit, right? You really have to know what you're doing when you go out there in the world and be able to sell what you're selling. And so I always found that whatever I got into, I really wanted to understand it, because it's kind of like acting. If you go out and act and you don't know your lines, you're thinking of the next line. But when you get so good at it, you can really get into it, right? And then you become that character. Well, that's the same thing with knowing what you're doing in a business. When you really know it, you can get back to what's the most important thing, and that's relationships, right? You want to get to know people, because when you know people, then you can establish bigger bonds, and you can go off and help hopefully create great, you know, companies or whatever you're going to do.
When you were knocking on those doors, Glenn, did you have any idea you would end up becoming who you are today?
Hell no. I mean, I had long hair. I was in a, you know, army jacket. I was a little punk kid. You know, I just had a kid. Well, I was just ready to have a kid. I was 11 years old. So I hadn't even done that yet. So, you know, I mean, I was a mess. Are you kidding me?
So when you were in California, and you moved into the mortgage business, like who was taking care of? I think it's your daughter, right?
My daughter, Charlene, right?
So
and
what
my mom took care of her, and her mom. And then when her mother got old enough, because her mother was in high school, when she got old enough, she got married, and then, you know, they lived together. That was it, you know? So
yeah. And so what's your first break when in California?
You know, I'd say when I was going to try to buy a house, my first house, and it didn't work out. And the guy I was buying it with fell out. So I ran to another guy and I said, hey, let's buy this house. I'm desperate. And he said, why don't we open a company together instead of buy a house? And he became my first partner, you know, and I wasn't looking for that. I didn't even think about that, but I had only been in the business 10 months. And now all of a sudden I started a business with another guy, because he did, you know, I'm going after something else, right? I've lost something and I'm trying to find my way. He asked me if I want to go in business with him, and I did. And 8 years later, I bought him out, and then I was sole owner of the business and took that all the way to, I sold it to Blackstone. So
yeah, what'd you get from Blackstone?
a lot of money.
It was public? Is it public?
No, I don't think so. It was a private deal. Yeah.
Okay. If you told us, how much would it be?
Probably more than I made on that restaurant in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Okay. So tell us about Undercover Billionaire. How did you get involved? How did they call you? What's the whole deal? Because I got people on here right now saying they love you. They loved you in Undercover Billionaire. We have tens of thousands of people on this right now, just so you know. And like, people love you, man. Like I watch you, I love you, you know, like, I'm like, he's such a nice dude.
My wife said, hey, I think Grant and Glenn got a little bromance going on. I go, what are you talking about?
Well, you know, I've always looked to other men really in my life, to look to other men to emulate and be good examples for me. And There is a bromance going on, no doubt about it. Tell her, hey, I plead guilty.
She's over here right now. Uh-oh. Is that you? Hello.
Is that Mindy?
No, that was something weird. I don't know what that was. Something came on there.
So how'd you get the Undercover Billionaire thing?
All right. So, you know, I was working. I got a call. This is 15 years ago to do, see if I wanted to do a television show. And it was because of somebody in my work that suggested I do it. I ended up doing the show with my wife, and it was called Real Gilligan's Island, right? And I didn't apply for it. I didn't do anything. We just ended up doing it. And I won the show. So for the next 12 years, people kept coming to me, hey, do you want to do another show, Glenn? Do you want to do another show? And I'd always answer with, well, I don't like that idea, but I tell you a show I would do. You could put me anywhere in the country, take away my name, my money, my contacts, and I bet I could do it over again. And I would always say that. And then one day, Discovery calls back and says, hey, if you really want to put your money where your mouth is, then come do that show. And so, you know, it was my idea. I thought it over. And I'll tell you what is important, I think, for the people that are watching, Grant, because you know this now that you did this. And I guarantee you didn't know this until you did it. And that was because I didn't either. Was you think, I could do that. That's easy, right? But what happens is when we get into something, we don't know everything that's going to happen to us. And all of a sudden you get that, oh shit, man, what am I getting myself into? Like, what did I do? This is crazy. Why in the world? But what I found, and this is what's the most important part, is the difference between success and failure, right? Is that we're going to get ourselves in that hole, a deep hole. And the thing is, what I love is when I'm in that hole, I love climbing out of it. I because that's when you know who you are. It's not when you're at the top and you're driving the fancy cars and all the other crap. It's when you're down in the bottom of the hole. Then how are you going to get yourself back up? So I said, I can't wait to get in the bottom of this hole, right? And when I got there,
did you know how deep the hole would go?
That was what I was going to say. When I got there, I did not think it was going to be this deep. And the difference is the whole freaking world is watching, right? Like there are moments when I look back on that show and I see myself staring off going, why in the world did I do this? Maybe I can screw this all up and they'll never air it, right? Like I'm trying to think. And by getting myself out of that is the most proud moment you can be. So for anybody that's in the hole, right? We all are going to be there. That's when you need to shine. That's when you need to go off and gather the troops and communicate and be able to pull yourself out. And that's when you're going to feel your best, as I'm sure you're aware of, by the way.
Yeah, I can tell you guys, like, you know, what I can tell you guys about this show is people love you, dude. Like you ought to see the love I see in the comments. Like, if you guys have not seen the show Undercover Billionaire, you must watch this. You must watch it to see what a guy goes through with no money. And you know, Glenn, when I was watching the show, Elena and I watched it together, and when I saw the opening, okay, the opening thing is what convinced me, hey, you got to do this deal. Because you get on your plane, you leave your yacht on your helicopter, go to your plane, and then you're becoming somebody else. And I'm like, I mean, I like all that stuff, right? But the thing that got me was I could see you sitting in the chair on the way to Erie, not knowing it was Erie. And I'm like, oh, he's got that old fuck look in his face.
That's right.
He's got that look like, okay, what did I just do here? Like, and I'm thinking about myself in your seat, right? Saying, what am I about to do now? And then to watch how you did, like, I learned so much watching you, because the whole time as another guy like you, right? I'm calculating, what would I do different? How would I do? You guys have to watch this show. And when I asked myself every show that I watched, could I do it? You know, and of course I have enough ego to say, oh yeah, sure, I could do it. But the real question was, would I do it?
Exactly.
And
yeah.
Let
me tell you, I had Richard Branson, John Elway, all these guys, right, around me going, why in the world would you want to do that, Glenn? Are you crazy? Like, what tell me the upside to this. Tell me it. And I said, the upside is I can do it.
Yeah.
The upside is that everyone else is afraid to do it, because what holds us back is fear, right? Like, what if I don't succeed? What if I do look like an idiot in front of the world? Right now, who's got enough balls to go out? And I didn't have to, I was on my freaking boat. All right. I don't need to do that. But what I liked is what I'm doing, exactly what I'm doing now. It's going out and doing it again. We're doing this with Kind Lending, right? Which is exactly the same thing. I don't have to do it. I want to do it. I want to do something that you can look back and be proud of, right? And so when I was sitting there saying, it sounds great, and you just don't remember the pain, right? You don't know how much pain you're going to be in. And it's the same thing with anything you do, any business, anything, you know? I mean, this was naked and afraid business, right? You know, and I've always wanted to do Naked and Afraid, right? I always say, hey, if that doesn't work, I'd do that show. And it's like, I want to see what I'm made of, you know?
Yeah, Glenn, now, did you find it more difficult because you had this other life that was soft and cushy and first class? And did you experience like, you know what I'm saying? When you have to do it, as opposed to you don't have to, like, was that a struggle for you?
No. I mean, look, everybody goes through pain, and I think the ones that have had a cush life and then they fall back, I think that is a, that's a problem. You know what a problem is? Cancer. Okay. A problem is health. And so I went through that twice, and that was much bigger than any, you know, I think people that have a cush life, they're the ones that are in that don't have the tools, because, you know, when you have gone through adversity in your life, when you have overcome big obstacles, you've got an arsenal of tools to deal with, you know? And so I look at those people, and I was one of them, as, wow, man, I've got the, you know, the knowledge to get out of these holes, right? But people that have always had a good, easy life, when they get themselves in a hole, they find it real difficult to get themselves out.
How important, Glenn, has it been for you to get around the right people and to do these things like you see me doing these workshops and the 3-day events and boot camps? And how important is it to get around the right people and learn the right things?
Oh my gosh, what you're doing by bringing in other people and letting people, look, you can only say so much, right? You can do so much rah-rah. I mean, me, everybody. But when you get other personalities, people who do it differently than you, people that understand and have had different experiences, it is so important to have mentors and the people, so you don't have to hit your head against the wall as many times as maybe somebody else did, right? So if you can gather enough support around you and people that are these pillars of the community, that's how you're going to be able to continue to grow. You know, no man's an island. You don't want to be, you know, anyone that wants to think they can do it on their own has just got too big of an ego.
When's the book coming out?
Father's Day.
Okay. What's the name of it?
Grit Happens.
Okay, good. Well, let me help you make sure my audience gets it. All right.
Yeah. No,
okay.
Yeah,
So let's go ahead.
That's our podcast too, by the way. Grit Happens. So
Grit Happens.
That's right.
Okay, good. Anything I can do to help you with both of those, you let me know, and I'm here for you.
Well, that's my wife over here telling me. So Mindy's in the corner reminding me to plug that. So thank you.
Mindy, good job, Mindy. That's what Elena always does. She's in the back giving me notes. I'm like, okay.
Hi, Brad. When are we going to dinner?
Let's do it. Let's go to St. Bart's. I want to go to St. Bart's for a couple weeks, but I know you guys just got off a big trip.
When you get back, we'll go to dinner.
Okay, I love it. Love you, Mindy. We're big fans of yours. Okay, so what I want to do, Glenn, if you got another, few minutes, I want to ask questions from the audience. You good with that?
Yep.
What is your Instagram? That's the first thing.
Glenn Stearns.
Okay, that was from Maggie. Glenn Stearns.
GLENN STEARNS. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you like the Photoshop picture I did of the two of us? Did you?
I loved it. I promoted that too. I loved it. I don't have the amount of people you have on Instagram, but I promoted it.
Well, you're gonna have a bunch of people here in a second. So
you made me look tall.
Yeah, it makes me look tall too. So just another background thing. When I was doing the show, I did this. It was the last 2 weeks, And I did this video about Undercover Billionaire, how much I like the show. Discovery, Glenn, you don't know this. They freaking lost their minds.
I've watched you a couple times. I go, he's going to get in trouble, man.
Dude, they were freaking out. I said, guys, I'm not taking it down. They're like, you got to take that video down. I said, hey, you know what? Sorry. I think it's the Second Amendment or the first one. It's
I
one
think
of
you
my.
Signed something though that might say, okay, just give me.
And they said, you signed, you have an agreement. I said, yeah, I know that agreement gives me the right to also watch shit and have opinions about it. And I said, look, it's brilliant marketing, number one. Okay. So, and I just want to talk about it because I was so inspired by the show. I got to tell you, dude, I just loved watching you. Okay. Enough of me. Let's see here. Oh my God, they're coming so fast now. Did you use social media? This is from We Are Dog Training. I think the answer is no, but did you use social media to build your billions?
I didn't. Yeah, I was too old school and dumb, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm learning from you. No.
Well, it wasn't even around when you were playing the game, right?
Yeah, it wasn't. But, you know, I've got a team now, so we're on our way.
Yeah. Anything I can do to help them. Nelson wants to know, what does the gorilla stand for?
He's a shit kicker.
Thrower.
I like that. Make sure I send them my gorilla today. Okay.
Beast mode.
Desiree wants to know, what are some of the biggest takeaway and difference between building from nothing when you first started in the 80s versus when you did it on Undercover Billionaire in today's world?
Oh man, you know, it's so funny to, you know, we've all said it, right? God, if I could only go back in time, right? And that's exactly what happened. I mean, I literally went back in time. I had 30 years of experience, and it was exactly what happened at Kind Lending, because we've had our second month of fundings, of closings, right? We funded more in our second month. It took me 15 years to get to where we are in 2 months here, right? So it's exactly the same thing with Undercover Billionaire. Yeah, I went 30 years backwards, having the knowledge, just like you, to know what to do in order to gather people, right? In order to inspire and try to get them to march along to help you build this great idea, or what you hope is a great idea. And so, you know, it ended up being something that is more about, I think, when you have all of that experience and you put it together. I didn't have it. It took so long the first time, right? And to me, it's all about things like retained earnings and things that you can't take, you know, you can't get overnight. You have to keep remembering to put back in and continue to build and build and build. And that's what we're going to do again anyway. So
how would you tell people to accelerate that path from so they can skip over if it's possible?
Well, I mean, one thing, don't go out and buy the Lambos and the Bentleys when you make a little money, right? Yeah. Reinvest your money back into your company and continue to allow your company. So many people spend that money and they don't have anything to help build. I mean, it's about compound interest, right? It's about compounding your net worth. You can't do that when you give it all away or when you spend it, you know?
How important is money, Glenn? To winning the game, to playing the game and winning the game and staying in the game.
Well, I mean, look, I've never made money my God at all. I would tell you in one half of my breath, it's not important. And the other, it's the most important thing, right? Like, you have to have it to grow, to get bigger. If you're looking for net worth, if that's your happiness, I think it shouldn't be. It should be. It's a way to get, it magnifies who you are, right? And whatever that means. But if you want to grow, and if that's the goal, is to, you know, become financially secure, then you need to keep all the money in you can, and you don't spend it. You grow your bottom line. That's what you need to do.
Just to be clear, how did you pay for the trip to Bora Bora?
I paid from 30 years of hard work.
Okay, but I mean, you paid for it with money, right?
Absolutely.
I thought so. Just keeping shit simple. Okay. In your show, Boot Boss Holly says, in your show, you talked about turning rivals into revenue. Can you talk about that?
Sure. There is so many opportunities out there. People, when we see a competitor, right, we think of them as the enemy. And I've always said, why are they the enemy? They're doing the same thing I'm doing. I want to become friends with them. And when you do, there's so many times that there's synergies there. You go, hey, I'm not doing that. Why don't I help you there? And you can help me here. And you end up you end up growing by being stronger together. How many times, why are there malls? Why are there 500 shoe stores next to each other, right? Well, why does Burger King go next to McDonald's? I mean, it is a good thing to be around your competitor and not think of them as the enemy.
Yeah, draft, don't fight, right? Tony wants to know when you started, did you have a $1 billion mindset, or were you starting off smaller, or did you even know it all?
No, I didn't know it all, and I think that's okay. I don't, again, by them learning from people like yourselves, Grant, is great, right? Because I wish I had, a goal in mind in the beginning. I mean, I didn't get mentored where I grew up. I grew up in it wasn't the greatest situation. So I didn't have all these wonderful goals in mind. I mean, I came out of the hood, so to speak, and then I went, all right, what am I going to do now? Right. And so as I surrounded myself with these people and I saw where they were in their life, then I got the goals. And then I said, all right, I need to buckle down and I need to, keep going. And now I want to do something. I want to get my first million. I want to get my first this. I want to grow the business so it reaches $1 billion a month. I want to, all those kind of things became goals after that.
My wife's going to want to know, how important a part does Mindy play in your life today?
Oh, absolutely. She's been, we are, it's not just me. My wife in Kind Lending, she was the chief happiness officer, because what we think is so important in your company is the people. It's the number one. By the way, we've changed her name to the chief kindness officer because she was going around telling everybody she was the chief hoe. And I told her she's not allowed to do that anymore. But so we are, so we have a chief kindness.
Know what you're good at, Mindy. Know what you're good at. That's what I would say.
10X.
Didn't know you're not 10Xing that, damn it.
For you, honey, for you, honey.
Okay, for me. So
We're gonna have a good time. 10X ho.
Yeah, damn
Let's
right.
go. Let's go.
Let's go to Bora Bora. So Grant, back to what we were talking about. So I think it's so important you invest back in your people, right? And it's not just about the money, but it's about happiness, and it's about, there's another type of currency here, right? I mean, we call that happiness, right? We call it the culture of a career, not just, coming in here and leaving. So
biggest takeaway from Christian at CB Investments, biggest takeaway from 2020 for you?
Pivoting, know when to pivot, and that was all that I think the show is about. But that's what I think life is about, right? This is a time where we all went, oh shit, this is not going the way I thought it was going to go. And there's a lot of people making a lot of money that weren't before, right? So this is not about poor me and what am I going to do? Those people are lost. You've got to understand that you got to switch your mindset. You got to change how you're thinking, because there's opportunity out here like crazy right now.
Dude, here's a great question. This is from Duncan McDermott. He's like, hey, what have you learned watching Grant and this whole 10X thing he does?
That's a great question. So what I learned.
I'm reading it off of it. I'm like, because I think it's good when guys like you and I get together, what am I learning from you watching you? Because I think we look for different things.
So a couple things. Like I said, my wife says what I've learned is that I need to spend more money, but I don't agree with that. But what I have learned, Grant, is that you are surrounding yourself with amazing people. You have not only use your platform and gathered more and more people, and you're getting such a wonderful synergy with everything that you're doing. And so I really, I admire that. I say that no one's an island, but I mean, I had my company and that was great, but I didn't see the power of going out there really and going bigger than that, even outside of my own industry. And that's what you've done, really. Yeah.
That is one thing that's like, I just remember 2008, I was in one vertical and I got punished for it. Kyle Francis says, who were your mentors?
Well, my number one mentor is a guy named George Argyros, and George was ambassador to Spain. He owned the Seattle Mariners. He's an amazing guy in Orange County. And I'll never forget when I came to him in 2008 and I said, George, my 2007, I said, I've got $100 million of buyback loans. I've got 50,000 square feet. I need like 5,000, right? I've got class action lawsuits. I don't know what I'm going to do, and Well, I remember when I owned the Seattle Mariners and they went in strike. And I remember owning the airlines and they went in strike. And then blah, blah. And he says, son, this too shall pass. And the next year, I had my best year ever. And the world was falling apart for him. He had all this, Glenn, you have no idea what's going on. My God. And I said, George, this too shall pass. So, you know, people that have been around the block, they realize it's just a blip, right? We're here, we're here, we're here. It's just, we're never going to stay where we are, right? It's going to pass and we're going to be okay. We'll get through it.
As long as you don't quit.
As long as you don't quit.
How did you keep going early on when you didn't reach your goals? This from Priceless.
Yeah, well, my wife would say that I go through and have been able to endure more pain than anybody. And I believe that, and I agree that, you know, when you are ready to quit, that is the time when you need to absolutely sit down and bunker down and bite down and say, there's no way in the world I'm going to quit. I would die before I quit. Okay. And that's just, I don't know. It's become stronger and stronger as I've gotten older, right? When I was younger, I didn't probably have that much in me, but I realized how important it is to not quit. It's okay to pivot, right? But don't give up no matter what it takes, no matter how bloody you get, no matter what it is about, don't ever give up.
This may be repetitive, but what's the number one skill that you continue to use today?
Shoot, I'd say communication, right? Because when we get our backs against the wall or when we're doing well, it doesn't matter. It's about communicating and making sure people understand where you stand. Because a lot of times when we go through hard times, what do? If I just close my eyes long enough, it'll go away. And that's the wrong answer. You need to get in people's face and say, look, this isn't going right. Let's figure this out. And you will get farther faster of that.
Yeah, you seem so chill, man. How are you so chill? You seem like such a nice guy. Mindy, is he as nice as he seems?
Yeah.
Of course.
99% of the time, he's wonderful.
99. So she deals with the other 1%. But you know, the reality is, again, go through cancer, right? Go through something big, and you realize it just isn't that important, Grant. You know, it really isn't.
Yeah, I need to hang with you, man. You'll be good for me. You know, I was probably 2 weeks into this thing in Pueblo, and I could tell the crew liked you more than they liked me. Did they tell you that, by the way?
You know what? It's funny that you would say that. I will reserve my comments because I'm not sure how they, I was too busy doing my own thing again out there. So
yeah. And I asked them because I didn't understand what was going to be going on. I didn't know what I got into, to be honest. Like, I thought my kids and my wife were going to be with me after like 3 or 4 days.
Ignorance is bliss. That's the way you're supposed to be. If we knew what we were getting ourselves into, you wouldn't do it, right?
Nobody would do that. Nobody. I would recommend nobody ever do that. Like,
right. But I tell you what, the new show is called Erie Rising, right? It's the same thing, Undercover Billionaire, Erie Rising. And I found so many wonderful people out there in Erie. And I hope you did the same thing in Pueblo, because these are people I never would have run into. You know what I mean? Our lives are fast. You go through a lot. You're doing a lot. But to sit for 90 days and get to meet some amazing, hardworking people, right? It changed my life. And it was probably one of the best things I've ever done in my life.
Yeah, it was the worst thing I've ever done. I have a completely different opinion about it. I could not look at anybody because I'm sitting there with that $100 and I'm like, I ain't going backwards. Okay. I'm not going to $86.
You've just given birth. You still have stitches. You haven't had enough time to forget about the pain yet.
You're probably right. What's your favorite book? Do you have a favorite book? This is from Kyla.
My favorite book is Chop Wood, Carry Water.
Nice.
You know that one?
Yeah, I do know it.
Yeah.
What's just a couple more. Jeffrey wants to know, what is the easiest way to know you have the wrong people in place? Great question.
Yeah. Well, when you know you have the wrong person, when you can feel it, when things aren't going right. We're about, in this company, it's about yes. Figure a way to say yes. Now you think, all right, in the lending business, how are you going to say yes all the time? You have to decline people. Well, I say, no, you don't. What you can do is, if somebody has terrible credit, right, and they're not going to get the loan, instead, if they're only putting 10% down, say yes. You only have to put another 80% down and we'll do
That's
that.
right.
later,
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
there's always a way to say yes.
That's
and when,
right.
And when you have no people in your organization, and you have people that have attitude, or what, we call onboard terrorists, right? People that just, they're cancer in your organization. You need to realize it and be ready to pull the trigger and say, I'm sorry, you got to go, right? And by the way, thank them all the way out the door. Even the ones, they tried to give a career. It didn't match with you. We don't kick people out and say, you're a terrible person. It just didn't match with what we're doing.
Yeah.
So,
and you're never the person doing that, right? Somebody else is doing that.
I used to be the person always doing it, and now I'm only doing it at a little higher level.
Yeah.
But
Okay, guys, look, I've asked Glenn to be at our next 10X Growth Conference in Las Vegas. I have a feeling he's going to accept. So I got this crazy audience of people. I'm begging all of you right now, for me and for Glenn, go follow Glenn on Instagram at Glenn Stearns. You'll love what happens there. You'll love this guy. You'll love his story. If you haven't seen the show, Undercover Billionaire, you can probably get it off Discovery Channel or Amazon. How do people watch that show?
How do they watch it?
iTunes.
Yeah, I think you watch it iTunes. I think you watch it Discovery Go, Hulu.
It's worth it. It's worth, if you don't have one of those apps, or it's worth getting it, cancel it later just to watch that one show. Trust me, it is worth it. You will learn a lot. It is not reality TV as you suspect, probably.
It's reality TV. Right?
It is real. It is real. Like, I did it. I know what that guy went through. And a lot of the stuff, Glenn, y'all didn't even show around the cancer stuff that you were going through, right?
No, I had a feeding tube the whole time, and we didn't show that. I didn't want it to be about poor me. I wanted to be about building a business, and I didn't want people to think, you got to feel sorry. In other words, the people in Erie didn't know, right? I mean, I didn't want them to know, because I could have easily used that card, but that's not how I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be anybody from anywhere could come in and try to do this, and they didn't have to use something other than grit and hard work and, surrounding yourself with good people.
The production guys used that on me, by the way. I was complaining about something. They're like, Glenn was in the hospital with cancer. I'm like, fuck you guys and fuck Glenn. Don't drop that shit on me.
We're going to have fun. We're going to have fun. We're going to go to that dinner. Okay.
Yeah. Good. Let's do it. Anytime, anywhere, anything I can do to help you and Mindy, definitely want to do some stuff. Love to hear about what you're doing with your new company, Kind Lending. That's a wholesale lending company, not retail. I can't get a loan from you.
No, yeah. We have brokers going to us. Right now, that's where we are. We'll grow into the rest of it, but that's been our forte. That's been where we were number one in the country doing that, and we'll do that again.
Well, look, Glenn, you're an inspiration to me. I really appreciate you taking the time to be successful in your life and make that decision in Southern California that I want this. I mean, that's what I got from this interview. When you said, I want this.
Yeah.
And however you've been able to maintain that pull, that you want something, you want to help people, you want to be a good example. I really appreciate you being a great example of the American dream.
Hey, well, I appreciate being on the show. You're doing great things for a lot of people. You've got, some serious followers, Grant, that really are inspired by what you do. So congratulations. And congratulations for figuring out this formula, right? Which is getting a lot of other people that maybe have a different way of doing it, but also have another message to send people that want to figure out how to get out of their situation, right? And so it's amazing when you surround yourself with the right people, you can do anything. And so you're a great testament to that. And what you're doing is wonderful. So I salute you. Thanks for all that you're doing, buddy.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Mindy, thank you for being with us. Thanks for being so generous with your time. Okay. Guys, like, you got to be inspired right now. Okay. You got to be inspired. Here's a guy that came from nothing, had every reason, like I give you two or three right now, every reason not to make it, and he made it. What you got to be inspired by this. This is a freaking American dream. This is real. It's a real dude. And I've had 10 days of real people that come up here and at different levels in life have done something. So what I learned from Glenn today was, I want this. Don't get in your comfort zone. Have points of inspiration. You have to find points of inspiration to pull you. Be in it for the game. The best, most successful salespeople I have in my organization are gamers. They want to play the game. Rejection's a different thing to them than a disappointment. He talked about sales pitches, relationships, saying yes, being positive. Please, like you want good food for your family. You want a good, safe shelter for your family. This is inspiration and education and information. You have to stay around this. GrantCardone.com/virtual. Go join that thing right now. Okay, it's $297. You got $2 million worth of information from Glenn in the last 20 minutes. Don't stop feeding the beast. Feed the beast. There's a beast inside of you. That's what that gorilla, that ass kicker. But somebody got to feed the gorilla.
That's right. Somebody got to do it. It's not going to eat on its own.
Yeah. So you guys grab the whatever level you can afford. If it's $297, get in there. Okay. If it's $497, do it. If you can afford the $1997, do it. We're gonna have a big pitch fest. Maybe I'll bring Glenn back in to pitch it. Maybe me and Glenn invest in a company with you. I don't know.
Let's do it.
Glenn says, let's do it. He wants to play. Look how young and alive. How old are you, Glenn?
Shit, I'm 56.
Damn, you just a young man.
56. What I got? You got a few years on me, huh?
Yeah, I do. Hey, brother, thank you so much. Everybody that joined tonight, thank you. And for all of you that have, Jared, you want to come finish up with homework and take away. Tomorrow, I'm going to finish the other 5. I don't want to hang Glenn out here. So, Glenn, we're good, buddy.
All right. Hey, just give our best to Elena, too.
You got it, brother. Appreciate you, man.
All right.
And
thanks, Ken.
I'm going to text Glenn right now, see if he goes to St. Bart's with me. I can tell they're going to be fun people to party with. It's going to be ridiculous, okay? They're going to be fun people. Okay, Jared, we're going to give you some homework tonight, okay?
Yeah, so,
about tonight.
And rather
some giveaways. How about some 50,000 big freaking slammer points? Guys, we have 10 spots yet. 10 spots.
9
spots left to speak at the 10X Growth Conference, okay? Now, whatever you think it takes to put 12,000 people in a room and all their attention is on one thing. My daughter spoke this year. She called me today. She said, Papa, can you put my speech back on my Instagram page? Okay. My kid, there's no education my kid will ever get that is more valuable than her standing on a stage and learning how to pitch herself to 12,000 people. Glenn talked about it, by the way. Pitch at the front door. Look how all his energy changes when he talks about the pitch at the front door that he hadn't done in 30 years that he still remembers. You got to get that right. The ability to stand in a room surrounded by 12,000 people and you shake and you're nervous and you're sweating and you're having whatever damn thing that goes on for you, it will be the most valuable experience you have because you're going to have it. And if you don't have it, and if it bothers you, you have to touch that. It's just like money, the graph, everything we talked about. You want to change it, you want to grow it, you got to touch it. Okay, so we're going to pick 10 people out of this VIP group. If you can possibly figure out how to get yourself in that group, that's where those 10 names or 9 left are going to come from. Okay, and we're going to put them on stage. I want to show you guys off. What did Glenn say today? He didn't talk about how smart I am or how great I am. He gave me what we're going for, okay, which is, bro, you're putting people together. This isn't about you anymore. It's what we say about the 10X movement. It's not about me. It's about something else now. It's going to go on, live on. People are going to be talking about 10X. Kevin Hart talking about 10X. Dana White's talking about 10X. Everybody's got their version of what 10X is, but it's all this big and it's inclusive and it's about you because little's not working. And you got to grow your family. You got to grow your ideas. You got to grow the dream and you got to keep feeding the beast. Feed the beast, the crazy you. Feed the beast. Okay. So GrantCardone.com/virtual. $297, $497, $1997. The $1997 gets you a shot at the pitch, the stage, the book.
100,000 points.
100,000 points tonight. The contest is stupid. Flight on 10X Airlines. What else are we giving away, Jared?
Coaching sessions.
Diamond
sessions.
Ticket. Diamond ticket, $20,000 diamond ticket. The people that sit diamond get to meet our speakers, most of our speakers. Some of our guys bounce so fast, I can barely keep them in there. Okay. Jared, go ahead. Wrap this up.
So just to wrap up, the one thing that I want you guys to do for homework tonight is I want you to go over the first 5 days of the 10X challenge. And I want you to post a video in the group of your takeaways. This is going to be great for everybody, not only to do, but it's going to be great for you to look at what everybody else's takeaways were, because different people see things different ways. So it's a great opportunity for you guys to collaborate with each other, get involved in the material in a more meaningful way. One thing from each of the 5 days, the first 5 days from the 10X challenge, share it in the group. That's your homework assignment. We'll have winners for the homework tomorrow. If you guys want to post your notes as well.
Ballers.
GrantCardone.com/ballers. If you want to be one of 15 people to join us live at the 10X Bootcamp Interactive.
And they get the baller. Any baller gets
Baller. GrantCardone.com/baller.
And the baller.
Shot caller.
The baller is immediately gets 150,000 points. And what's the top person? What's the top person got for
130.
The 150,000 points to anybody that gets the baller offer, and automatically into the pitch. Automatically guaranteed.
Finalist.
To be one of the pitchers.
Is he Johnny's here? Okay, so if you go to GrantCardone.com/baller, you automatically get 150,000 points, and you automatically become a finalist in the 10X pitch off, which will happen on day 2. Massive bonuses, massive. 150,000 points. That'll overtake first place. Second thing you get is you get to be a finalist for the pitch off, where Saturday night of the 10X Interactive Bootcamp, you're going to get to pitch your business to all the thousands of attendees. I think we're almost at 5,000 people that have already signed up to come to the 10X Bootcamp. So take advantage of this, guys. It's a ridiculous offer, once in a lifetime.
And they get to come sit in the studio.
And you'll be in the studio live at the
14
10X Bootcamp Interactive. So can't wait to see you guys there.
VIP. It's not even VIP. It's baller. Baller. Can you say baller? Everybody hit it. Baller. 10X baller. GrantCardone.com/baller.
All right, guys. We'll see you right back here tomorrow, 5 o'clock. We're going to pick up the second half of the 10X challenge, takeaways and summary. And we have a special guest tomorrow, Kenny the Jet Smith, 2-time NBA champion. He is the host on, Inside the NBA? No, the NBA on TNT, one of the top NBA commentators on the planet. And he's going to be sharing with you his view of greatness and how you guys can get more of that in your life. We'll see you right back here tomorrow, the 10X challenge.